Good, so
Good to go.
they killed it.
Recording in
Yeah.
progress.
Okay.
All right, good evening. We'll start the Franklin Conservation Commission meeting for June 4th. Let's start with roll call. Richard.
Richard is here.
All right.
Louis here.
Mark LePage is here.
Michael Ryan?
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Sharamonte.
All right, and I know Matt was not going to make it. I think we've got Bricolai online.
Rick Allen. Good.
Can you guys see? I can't-
Yep.
There she is. Right? All right. Hey, Bricolai. All right. So we'll start with our public hearings. We've got, our first one is Nicholas Drive Prospect Street Culvert Repair. We had a request for continuance on that. So, Richard, you want to start us off? Give us continuance for Nicholas.
when,
So we are on the 18th, right? I think that's correct. At 7:01.
Yeah, the 18th,
Yep.
so it'd be 6/18.
Yep.
Make a motion that we continue the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair to 6/10 at 7:01.
6:18.
6/18.
So, all right.
Second.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue.
All right, motion's continued. And our second NOI is 110 Populatic Street. Again, we had a request for continuance to June 18th. Lou, you want to hit us with that?
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 110 Populatic Street for June 18, 2026.
Second.
All right,
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue.
All right, motion's continued. Then we are on to MBZAs, and we've got 10 Symphony Drive. How you doing?
Good, how's it going?
Good, good to see you again. So looks like you'd submitted the MBZA application, right? Thank
Yep.
you for that. Want to give us just a brief overview? I know we did talk about a bunch of this, but if you could, give us your name for the record.
Yep, so Matt Pitcher, 10 Symphony Drive.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. So just to kind of recap what we discussed last time, so on the proposed kind of drawings, we had outlined the fence is the red dotted line, and kind of just putting in a grassy area for our kids to play in, essentially is it. So we did have a shed that you can see that was close to the pool that we had moved to the back corner of the proposed kind of area, and then we didn't bring in any fill. We're just putting down some loom. We used the dirt that was there just to kind of grade it as best we could, and yeah, and that's kind of the overview of the project. I will say, after the last meeting, the abutters kind of feedback from 4 Berkshire, I believe is the address, and just, you had asked if we could potentially move the shed, so, you know, trying to kind of, I know you the chair had made a comment about the jurisdiction is really more or less the buffer from the
That's right.
intermittent
Yep.
stream and not necessarily the
100%.
property line.
Yep.
But as trying to be kind of a good neighbor, we're going to take additional costs to move it to the other corner,
Oh, great.
to try to
Well,
just
thanks,
kinda
Matt.
piece everything there. So that's the only update from last meeting.
Oh, well, definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was just a request, but appreciate you doing that.
Yep.
Did it work?
What's that?
Did it work?
Well, we haven't moved it yet.
No, but I mean, the neighbors said that was,
Oh, I don't know. This is like I said, we haven't
Yeah.
discussed with the neighbor. We just are going to do.
Yeah, just something we talked about.
Yeah.
You know, one last thing we discussed, and you seemed like you were going to do it anyway, was putting up some landscaping along one side of your yard to block the view with the, I can't remember, it's the same resident with the,
Yes.
probably the same resident with the shed. You good with that?
Yes, we were planning on putting up landscaping.
Okay.
That's correct.
So you're thinking we do, if you're okay with it, since you're going to do it anyways, we just put a condition on the MBZA stating that, if
Sure.
that works for you.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
And thank you again for the shed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think we were actually, as we looked at it, Bricolai could comment, a little bit limited on the jurisdiction we had there, which is why it's really big that Matt volunteered this, but I don't know if you have any questions.
I just had a suggestion. On that landscaping, we strongly encourage native plantings, if at all possible.
I'm sorry, what was it, native what?
Native plantings,
Native
anything
plantings.
that's native.
We can give you recommendations on that. if-
Yeah, that'd be great.
Good call out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or will someone reach out to me or
Yeah.
where can I get a,
Bricolai's got her hand up, she's probably gonna comment on that, she's a good resource.
okay.
That was actually what I was going to say, Commissioner Ryan, and that the commission should actually draft a condition and read it into the record. Happy to do that on the fly for you right now. So I'd recommend an MBZA approval with standard conditions, including condition D, which the property owner shall reach out to the conservation director and work with the conservation department for a list of appropriate native plantings for screening between the properties of, Matt, help me out, would that be 4?
I think so.
I think so,
Or
yes.
is it-
Yeah, yep.
Between the properties of 10 Symphony Drive and 4 Symphony
Sym-
Drive or 4
No,
Berkshire?
4 Berkshire and 10 Symphony.
4 Berkshire Drive.
Yep.
Great, okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Native grass also?
Well, I mean, you can ask, for the lawn, you mean?
Yeah.
That's correct, yeah. So we had discussed that. It's going to be native grass, drought tolerant grass is
Yeah,
what we're
thank
planting
you.
back there.
Okay,
Yep.
good catch, Roger, yeah. All right,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Works.
All right, I think that was it, Bricolai, any further comments?
None from me, thank you.
All right, and again, really appreciate the fact, I mean, you called back in August, we gave you the okay, and you came in, you explained it, you filed the MBZA, you're doing these extra things, thank you.
Yep.
We do appreciate it.
No, appreciate the help here. Guidance.
So, with that, you want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 10 Symphony Drive with conditions as stated?
Give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 10 Symphony Drive with conditions as stated.
Second. Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve?
Approve.
Approved.
All right, it's approved. Matt, thanks again.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate the
man,
time.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so that's our MBZA. Then we've got a permit modification for 555 King Street. Anybody here from 555? Looks like we're trying to get them online.
Hi, good evening. This is Josh Berman. How are you?
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Good. Sorry, I couldn't get off on mute.
We got it, we're good. So it looks like
Great.
you've got a little bit of a change where you're reducing the footprint of the building and replacing it with parking. So overall, impervious footprint stays the same, but less of its building. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
That's correct. I'd say we were approved for a 255,000 square foot building. It is now going down to about 234,800 square feet. We have replaced the building with parking, but we've also decreased the amount of impervious. So the impervious has actually decreased by a small percentage.
Oh, okay, good.
And I
Okay,
would just add, all of this work is out of the buffer zone. This is in kind of the northwest portion of the project. All the wetland replications will happen closer to King Street, so none of the changes here are within the buffer zone.
okay. Questions on that?
So,
Okay. Go ahead.
so-
Yep.
sorry. So this doesn't change, I mean, it's impervious, so it doesn't change any of the stormwaters or anything that, from the previous?
No, there's no modifications to the storm water. Actually, some of the basins got a little bit smaller, but the stormwater hasn't changed. And then this has also been reviewed by Beta as part of the planning board process.
Okay, yeah, I figured I asked, but, okay, thanks.
Bricolai, do you have any comments?
No comments from me.
Okay. So, looks pretty academic. Seeing no further questions, Roger, you want to give us, you did the permit. Yep. All right, Roger, you want to give us a motion to approve the COC for Hancock Road?
I'll make a motion to approve the COC for
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say-
Permit modification.
permit modification for 555 King Street.
Yep.
Second. Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve.
Approve?
All right, permit mods approved. Thanks for coming in, Josh, and talking us through.
Yeah, thank you. Just one question. Brika, do we need to apply for extension too? This was granted in 2022.
Yes. Yep.
Can we
Well-
get, can we do that now? Can we get a 2-year extension on this?
Nope. You have to file
Yeah, it was a
again.
while ago.
There's a whole different form that you have to fill out for it.
Oh, got it. Sorry, I saw it on the agenda. That's why I brought it up.
No, that's all right.
Okay,
Thanks, Josh.
thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your
All
time.
right, thanks,
Yep.
Josh. All right, now we're on the certificate of compliance for 37 Hancock Road. Do we have somebody here from 37 Hancock Road? All right. Do we have somebody online, I'm assuming, right?
I'm a Zoom user, but not certain if that can be done.
Anybody online from 37 Hancock Road? Okay. Guess not.
Up to you, Chair LePage.
I mean, I think we probably want to do a site inspection anyway, right? So,
Yeah, I did review this.
Okay.
For what it's worth, but procedurally, the commission does not approve things without someone present.
you're not from 37 Hancock Road, are you?
Yes.
Whoa,
I thought
you-
there was a Zoom link.
Just
You were in the nick of time.
Yeah, I apologize. I just got off a call. They said there was a Zoom link. There's no Zoom link
Okay,
on the
well,
website, so I apologize.
it's even better you're here. This
Yes,
Your timing was perfect.
yes. How are you all?
We're great now.
Great.
So if you could just give us your name and.
Sure, Michael Wright.
All right, Michael, good to have you here. And if you could just give us an overview of the project, that'd be great.
Sure. So we put a pool in, I think it's 20 years ago, right around this time. We thought this was all closed up and the COC was completed. We're in the process of selling our home,
Ah,
closing in a couple weeks. This was identified.
okay, so this is historical,
Yes.
okay. All right, so, based, what questions? All right, seems, Bricolai, any comments?
Nothing for me. Everything is in compliance. I would recommend approval or
Okay, gr-
issuance.
Great. So, Nicole, you want to give us a motion to approve the COC for 37 Hancock Road?
I'll give a motion to approve the COC for 37 Hancock Road.
Second. Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
Approve?
All right, sorry to come all the way in, Michael,
Thank you
but we
very
got
much.
it done,
You
right?
leave now.
We do appreciate you showing up.
Now you can go home?
No,
No, you
no,
can go.
and you're always welcome to stay, but
Yeah,
I'll watch it on TV.
there you go, good man.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Have a good
coming
night.
in. All right, good luck with the sale.
Thank you.
All right,
It's probably gonna jump into
that's
that.
when they all come about, right? When they try to sell it, they say,
Yeah.
oh.
yeah, it's,
When it
it's,
shows
it's
up.
it's interesting how that stuff pops up, right? All right, next we have violations and enforcements. We've got 8 Bogastyle Brook. I did send them another note. He had, the guy Adam from Lola's Landscaping had gone back, still a little wet.
I'd driven by there several days ago. He hadn't done much, but that would, if it's gonna be wet, they're gonna rake that, I assume they're gonna rake that.
He's gonna pull that up with equipment, yeah.
Well, they'd probably be better off if he went down there with them.
Well, so he was saying is he laid it down at the end of the summer when things really dried
Yeah.
out. So that's probably gonna be the timing.
Well, a few more 90-degree days, maybe it'll dry out.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's responsive and
Yeah, he is.
seems on top of it, so, I'd suggest we extend, I think we can do 90 days, so, Rich, I think you're back around, you wanna give us a
Okay.
motion, right, Nicole, you did one, right, yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Motion,
give you a motion to extend the violations enforcement for 8 Augusto Brook Lane for 90 days?
yeah, let's do, yeah. Whatever you want, but
90 days is fine.
yeah, let's do 90, okay.
Second?
Vote to approve the extension.
Vote to extend.
Vote to extend.
Extend?
Extend.
Extend?
All right, it is extended, so that's good. Then we get last meeting's minutes. I took a look through, looked pretty good. I don't know if anybody's got any comments. Louis, give us a motion to approve the minutes of May 21st.
Yep. I'll give you a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 21st, 2026.
Second?
All right. Richard, give us an approve on that?
Approve.
All
All
right.
right.
Approve.
I was asleep at the wheel.
Let's vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
All right, approved. So then we're on to discussion topics. So we've got, bless you, some ability to do electronic signatures. I was going to take a swing and explain this, Bricolai, unless you want to, but you want me to take a swing at it? All right. So there's a couple ways we can do this. What we thought would work best is when we are here present in the meeting, we continue to do live, which I think are called wet signatures for whatever reason. But then we would take advantage of the e-signatures. If you're not here, you can do an e-signature, and then you wouldn't have to go down to town hall, and it'd make it a little quicker. We'd have 2 signature pages, one electronic and one wet, if you will, on each document, but that's small potatoes. But that seemed like the best way to do it. I mean, we could go all e-signatures, but it's pretty easy to get it done here, less complex. So that seemed to be a good way to make use of this option. Everybody thinks that works.
Sounds
I
good.
like it.
All right. Bricolai or Jordan, do we need to,
So you would have to vote to adopt.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask.
So
the last
Yep.
page in your meeting packet
Oh.
has the motion already written.
It's also, it's on the agenda. One second, Jordan. It's
Jordan,
on the
nice job.
agenda.
Wow. All right, so I'm gonna read this into the record then. I appreciate this. Good work.
A roll call too. We need a roll call for
Uh,
the certificate of vote.
Okay, so read this, we'll do a roll call, and then vote. Is that the way, or
The
roll?
roll
That-
call is the vote, so you'll just call out each commissioner individually and they'll say yay or nay.
I see, perfect, okay. Good input.
Can you make motions?
Well, I'm gonna read it in.
Yeah,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
we have a just 1 second. You can vote the way that you would normally vote. The roll call is fine, but we have a different form of government, so the voting is slightly different. So how you typically do it is fine. Mark, where you select someone to start, and then you can go down the line.
Okay. All right, and it's okay for me to make the motion, read this into the record?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Motion. All right. So I move that the Franklin Conservation Commission hereby recognizes and accepts the provisions of MGL Chapter 110G regarding electronic signatures, and that its members will henceforth execute documents either with electronic signatures or with wet ink signatures, and that they both will carry the same legal weight and effect.
Second.
All right.
Vote to
Adopt.
adopt.
Yeah.
Vote to adopt.
Vote to adopt.
Vote to adopt.
Vote to adopt.
Vote to adopt?
All right, motion's adopted. Thank you for the help on that, Jordan. All right, good.
You did good.
Yeah, we got that. So we were talking offline about the Community Preservation Commission. I think that one thing that came up, I think your term technically is up this month. I don't know.
Well, they asked if you wanted to re-up.
Okay,
I said, yes, but if somebody else wants to take over, because I haven't attended one meeting because they haven't had one meeting.
Right.
Well, they did have one meeting a
Well, you
couple
s-
weeks ago, and I missed that.
but you said you're good, you're good now?
Yeah, I actually got an email from somebody
Okay,
that said, we're gonna have a meeting in a week or two. And I said, okay, I'll attend that. And then they said, well, by your term's up. I said, no, that's good. Do you want to do you want to
re-up,
re-up? And
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay.
all right.
But if somebody else wants to take on this strenuous duty,
I think you're the man for the job. Seriously, are you okay doing it?
yeah, I'm okay, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you, all right.
I know.
All right, so, actually, I think we actually have to vote,
Two.
yeah. So, I guess we'll position it as, we have a motion, and, who's up, Michael? To reappoint Richard Johnson to the Conservation, I'm sorry, to the as the Conservation Commission representative to Community Preservation Commission.
I make a motion to reappoint Richard Johnson to be the Conservation Commission representative to the Community Preservation Commission.
All right? Second?
Second.
All right?
Do I vote on it?
No, you don't.
Vote to approve?
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approved.
All right, you're renominated, Richard. Thank you for doing that. All right.
I can't, yeah.
So, go ahead.
But we're gonna have a meeting shortly, reliably, and I think, Rika, are you gonna attend that?
I'm the only one on the agenda, so yes,
That's right. It's a special meeting just for Brick
just
Alive.
for me.
Good,
Yep.
because they mentioned they wanted to discuss this, that, and the other, a couple things, and I said, well, that's great, because I don't know anything about it, but I assume that you do.
What's on the agenda or
Yeah,
CPC in general?
They had some, I don't know what it
So-
was, but anyway, I'm
They're
sure you'll
meeting-
take care of it.
Yes, they're meeting on June 15th at 7 PM in council chambers, is regarding Maple Hill.
There you go.
So they did not approve the money at the last meeting. So they continued the conversation to June 15th.
Okay.
And Maple Hill was the only line item that got continued to June 15th.
Wonderful.
That's probably because Richard wasn't there.
They were waiting for him to weigh
June
in.
15th, 7 PM, council chambers.
I did, after raising a little ruckus, I did get an email that told me exactly what they were going to do and when the meeting was, so now I get emails.
It's good. That's
I'm glad you raised a ruckus. Good.
all right. Hey, before we got started, Richard had asked about Richard's Bridge.
Yes,
I mean,
on the next agenda.
All right.
The bridge has been collapsed
Yep.
for almost a year.
I know, and I gave John Nero a very stiff poking the other week to say, what's going on? I paid for stuff. I don't have any of the deliverables, so I only got it last week and it was past the filing deadline. So the plan is on the agenda for June 18th.
All right. Okay, good.
Are we kind of to assume that we have responsibility for other structures in parks and
Well, hence
conservation
Yes, as long as-
areas?
hence the Maple Hill.
As long as,
Oh, go ahead, Bricolai, sorry.
as long as, it's all right, as long as it's a conservation area or conservation land, that is correct.
That's,
So a big part of the Maple Hill proposal was to organize and formalize the trails, look at
Yeah,
bridges.
oh,
There's-
yeah.
There's a lot of braided, unofficial mountain bike trails back there. So yeah, so we're trying to get ahead of it there. So good fodder for your community preservation meeting.
Well, there's a discussion point there about how we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So Richards Bridge is in the town forest, right? Off
Right.
of Summer Street?
Right.
So I was just driving by there the other day. There is absolutely no signage. Like, no one would know that was.
We-
Well, you got a
It
parking
was
lot that
just
holds
taken
3
down,
cars.
they're being remade.
Okay.
So we needed to do new branding, new QR codes. Yes, Derek Adams, we just spoke about it on Monday.
Okay, good. Thanks.
All right, good
Yep.
catch.
Good catch.
You walk in, take a left, and keep walking until you fall into the bridge.
Yeah. That is if you know where the Franklin Town Forest parking lot
That's an
is.
excellent point.
Yeah,
Find it.
it's about 4 cars wide.
Right, yeah. Okay, good. Glad signs are
Signage to
getting
come.
done.
That's good. Anything further on the Vespericoli, or is that till next meeting probably?
Yes, that will be next meeting. It is preferred to have an approved vendor, which LL Bean is not. So I got that email back today, so you and I have to coordinate.
Oh, okay, so can we get them to be made a vendor, or we have to pick from other vendors?
Yes, we have to pick from an approved vendor list.
Oh,
So
okay,
Julie
got it.
McCann, and I got passed to Julie McCann. So
Okay.
I said, great, let's work on that. So
All right.
hopefully in the next week.
And another, we've used Charles River
Okay.
Apparel in, when I was with the Charles River
Yeah, I've heard of them, yep.
cut, and they seem to work all right. And they're local, they're just down Route 1.
I can see if they're on the list. I think
They
there's,
used to be. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, that's true.
Okay.
If you were, because you were on the other commission, so. But speaking of money or spending money, I am requesting that the commission approve $850 for Tom Ashton to come and do more forestry demonstration at Riverbend under the auspices of our forest stewardship plan and the riparian buffer zone remediation project that Mike Downey has sponsored.
He was the guy that did it for us on Earth Day. That was fun.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yep,
And both Earth Days, actually the last two. He's a good guy.
yeah.
Any questions, concerns on that? I think we can just do all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, so we're approved on that.
And then I guess it's our presentation.
Yeah. Derek, how you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
Good.
Okay. I am going to drive. Let's see. I have my other laptop on, so I hoped I could see you guys while I was presenting, but I don't think I'll be able to see you guys. So just laugh really loudly if you have things to laugh about, I guess. One moment. All right. Can you see the reference list for online resources?
Yeah, can you, I think it's coming.
We can see
Yeah,
it.
now you're good. Yeah. Love it.
All right.
So wait, can you tell us a story about the first beaver ever to, what was it, parachute, right?
Oh, I included the video, Mark.
Oh,
Oh, no, we're going to watch it.
All right,
Yes.
good.
We're gonna watch it.
Thank you.
Yes. So this is the highly requested presentation for the North American beaver, Castor canadensis, presented to the Franklin, apologies. Just one quick housekeeping item. These slides are wordy, And I will be reading off of the slides mainly for folks to come back, listen to recordings, things of that nature. So I apologize for those that are in the audience that will have to read the slides and hear me read them. Anyways, continuing on, this presentation is for the Franklin Conservation Commission on June 4th now, 2026. My name is Bricolai Goodlander. I'm a professional wetland scientist, certified ecological restoration practitioner in training, your conservation director, and also a certified beaver coexistence professional. Go ahead, Derek.
Derek Adams, excuse me, Department of Public Works. Happy to be here. Sorry, I was just distracted. Bricolai, it's not up on the screen, so I was looking at Tyler.
It's only on the TV.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to take one quick second, but it's good to be here, and I'm excited for this presentation, but I'm going to take a moment to try and get it up on the projector, and then I'll scroll as you scroll.
We do
Okay.
have it on the TVs, though.
Yep.
I can wait if you would like before I continue.
Yeah, give it a second, see if it works, right?
Yeah.
As we're logging in, I have a question. So it's a North American beaver, that's is that the only one that we have here in in New England?
Yes. So as opposed to the one that's over in Europe,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, the Eurasian beaver, which is Castor fiber instead of Castor canadensis.
Oh. We've got
Yeah.
the Latin name.
Latin names.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Perfect.
Oh, that's good for old people.
All right.
There we go,
Alright.
we're in business.
Nice work.
Continuing on.
I like the big
So
one.
conservation, leave it to beaver. The North American beaver, as we all know, builds dams and wetlands that are among the most biologically productive ecosystems in the world, comparable to coral reefs and rainforests. Beaver benefits include, but are definitely not limited to this list, creating diverse habitats and ecosystems, increasing biodiversity in other areas of the world, promoting salmon, trout recovery, regulating stream flows, improving water quality, acting as Earth's kidneys by replenishing drinking water aquifers, stabilizing the water table, repairing eroded stream channels, restoring watershed health. Beavers provide all of these ecological restoration services for free, saving us millions of dollars. These are ecosystem services, tangible benefits that they just provide by existing. So, however, despite these valuable ecological services, beavers sometimes cause landowners significant damage. Fortunately, though, cost-effective, long-term, environmentally friendly, and humane options exist to resolve most conflicts. Beaver trapping is legal, but to retain all the beaver benefits, it should be a last resort. Beaver basics. This animal means different things to different people. I've heard them called a nuisance, a cute animal, a water rat, a destructive tree killer. That's actually one I get most calls for, that they're tree killers. Canada's national animal, road flooder, dam builder, ugly swamp creator, or environmental savior. Today, however, most people have limited exposure to the natural world, and beavers typically only make the news when problems occur. So our talk about this furry aquatic mammal can be quite polarizing. I think this is me, by the way. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but
We could guess
I like
which one, I think.
yeah, yes.
It's a good add-in, good visual.
I think so too. So the historical perspective, I put this in here for fun and giggles, but beavers have a huge impact on early colonial American economy. So beavers have lived in North America for thousands of years and have played a vital role in shaping ecosystems. An estimated 60 to 400 million beavers existed when Europeans first arrived. Many plant and animal species evolved to depend on beaver-created habitat. Because of this, beavers are considered a keystone species. More on that definition later. Like the central stone in an arc, their presence is critical. Without them, ecosystems can weaken or collapse.
Hey, Bricolai?
Yep.
So how many are around today, and if they, I mean, they're heavily trapped for hundreds of years, right? So have they recovered?
Yes. They were almost extirpated.
Wow.
They have recovered. How many are in Massachusetts? I actually don't know that answer off the top of my head, but I bet you I could find it.
Okay.
But they are considered recovered. Absolutely. So indigenous communities sustainably hunted and trapped beavers for generations. In Europe, beavers had already been heavily depleted due to demand for felt hats, which is actually why they were almost extirpated here.
Right.
After colonization, intensive trapping in North America caused rapid population declines. Beavers played a central role in early exploration and settlement of North America, so they were a big proponent of moving westward from the East Coast as well. Beaver trappers were often among the first non-native explorers, helping drive westward expansion. Fur trading with indigenous communities was widespread, and beaver pelts were highly valuable and even used as a form of currency. Competition for this valuable resource sometimes led to conflict. Control of the fur trade contributed to frontier disputes and wars. Intensive trapping led to the widespread loss of beaver populations. By the time large numbers of settlers arrived, many areas were already depleted of beavers. And this is key, towns, roads, and farms were developed without them on the landscape. So this, I want to put a red flag up, or a yellow flag on that, that especially out here in New England, where many of the roads that we drive on today are the twisty, turny, aside from trying to navigate ledge, are the twisty, turny, small town roads, right? That were here for hundreds of years. So those have been built upon without beavers. So now when we have beavers moving back in to restore and rehabilitate ecosystems, all of a sudden we're at a crossroads, no pun intended, with humans. So this historical absence of beavers has contributed to many environmental and land use challenges we face today. So return of the beav. As demand for fur and top hats declined, trapping pressure decreased and beaver populations began a slow recovery. By this time, most remaining beavers lived in remote areas. This is in the contiguous 48 states. Wildlife managers began protecting beavers for their ecological value, and then throughout the 20th century, populations gradually rebounded. A unique reintroduction effort took place in Idaho in 1948. So biologists parachuted 76 beavers into remote wilderness areas using wooden crates. The first beaver released was named Geronimo. That is a hyperlink. I will bring you to the video in just a moment. All but one survived and successfully established new colonies. Across most of North America, recovery was less dramatic, but still successful. Abandoned farms reverted to forests, creating suitable habitat. Reduced demand for pelts led to less trapping pressure, and beaver populations were able to expand and stabilize. The photo on the right is a viral photo from, oh gosh, maybe it's 5 or 6 years now. This was taken in New Mexico. So wildfire had come and burned off the surrounding forest, and what was still green and lush is a beaver wetland. So,
Wow.
to include that. Give me just a moment, because I believe if I open a new tab, you will not be able to see the video. And then if anyone has any questions they wanted to ask while I'm playing with this, feel free.
Do you want me to see if it'll come up on the, I suppose you wouldn't be able to see it, but I can see if I can get it up on the screen? Oh, you got it. There you go.
I got it. Yeah, I just had to, because I'm sharing my tab,
Gotcha.
not
Yep.
like the entire thing.
The reason that the wetlands survive is because they're all deciduous trees in there, and it's green. It's all surrounded by those pine trees, and the pine trees go up like a torch when the fire gets to them.
Yeah, and beaver wetlands raise the water table and they increase the floodplain.
They do.
Did it essentially
So-
like just
They're
cut
wet.
out, or, yeah, what's the term? Like cut out or gnaw out the trees around it, like they're damn? Is that why
She
they?
knows better
Yeah.
than I do.
Yeah, they
I don't know
cut
what
the
the
tree.
term is, like,
The beaver chew?
Chew, beaver chew.
shoe? Yeah.
Yeah, I was to say it's not very scientific. It's just. All right, we just have an ad to work with, so, one moment.
Where's that at?
It looks pretty nice.
Yogi Bear
Yeah,
right in
Yogi in
Plymouth.
there.
I want to go too.
Yeah.
Probably New Hampshire. Where's
The
it?
Pine
Campbell's
Barrens.
Road. Yellowstone.
All right. So, just as a general PSA housekeeping item, Franklin Conservation Department does not condone how these beavers were handled or treated back in, what was that, 1978? I forgot.
48,
already.
right? This was luck, not skill, is what you're saying?
This was not, yes,
Some,
it was, okay. There is no sound, just FYI. So here they are tagging the beaver, putting it into crate, putting them in there. Yeah, I'm just, and there they go.
Holy crow.
They dropped them off the plane.
They just
Yeah, that seems risky.
launched them.
And the box just burst open and they,
Yep.
yeah.
Poor guys. I mean, not my preferred method, but I get it. You know, at least they tried. We live and
Well-
I
learn.
wonder whose idea
You
this
can
was.
imagine what's going through that beaver's mind.
a little traumatized.
Just,
thing.
all right.
That's,
Back to
thanks.
completion.
Never seen that before.
I know,
At
right?
least he didn't jump out on the way
I've seen,
down.
I've seen airdrops in the military. I've never seen
Beaver drop.
live.
What is the Air Force song? Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. What a hell of a way to die. Yeah. All right. So the beaver cycle, as beavers return to the landscape, they restore natural ecological processes that benefit many species. By damming streams and cutting trees, beavers open up the forest canopy. This creates new ecological niches and transition zones. Their activity forms mosaic habitats, a mix of wetlands, open water, and forest. These habitats are especially valuable. Many threatened and endangered species depend on them during parts of their life cycles. Habitat diversity supports turtles, bats, grouse, and other wildlife. Mosaic habitats are increasingly rare due to development. While tree loss near beaver ponds may seem destructive, it provides important ecological benefits. Dead trees become habitat for honeybees, native bees, wood ducks, swallows, and herons. Pond edges promote the growth of grasses, sedges, shrubs, and young trees. These plants provide food, shelter, and diverse habitat for many species. This infographic is more geared towards the Pacific Northwest, considering the salmon here, but I found it applicable all the same.
Well, speaking of that, do we have any fish in our rivers that get stopped by beaver dams?
No, and that is a common question and misconception because they have evolved with beaver dams for the entirety of their time. So the fish that would swim upstream that are used to going up fish ladders, it's no different than a beaver dam.
Thank you.
Yep.
Besides the ponds that they create, make hell of a fishing hole.
That's good. That's bad.
Beavers stay close to water, specifically so that they can limit predation on themselves. They're not very fast on land, so they impound water to create a habitat to protect themselves from coyotes and the like. So beavers stay close to water and rely on nearby softwood trees, your aspens, your willows, your cottonwoods, for food and building materials. Over time, they use up the available woody vegetation and move to a new area, typically around the 10-year mark. When beavers leave, dam begins to leak and ponds slowly drain. You then get a beaver meadow. This transition creates new habitat. So the nutrient-rich sediments are exposed, which leads to lush grasses and meadow plants to grow, forming beaver meadows. Then the shrubs and trees gradually return. After 10 to 15 years, enough woody vegetation regrows to support beavers again, and the cycle repeats. So why does this cycle matter? It creates, again, a sequence of habitats that support high biodiversity. So instead of having many habitats in one location at one time, like a mosaic, when you have a beaver pond, now post beaver pond, you're getting that mosaic structure, but in a longer temporal landscape than at the same time. Opening the canopy allows sunlight to reach the water, and then sunlight promotes growth of algae and aquatic plants when you have a beaver pond. This supports a full food web. Microscopic organisms feed invertebrates, invertebrates support fish, birds, and mammals, and beaver ponds become rich, productive ecosystems. Because of these widespread impacts, beavers are considered both a keystone species and an ecosystem engineer. I realize that I'm using a lot of the same terminology, and it may be redundant ideologies, but I really wanted to get across how great these little big animals are. So the beaver cycle.
So
beavers not only
when they leave an area, Bricolai, what do they just travel downstream till they find another area that's suitable to?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's also I will mention it is unlikely, they would have to travel very far. So the way that beavers work in their family structure, which I didn't talk about here, I probably should have to appeal to the hearts of, the people. But mom, dad raised their pups, right? Then they kick the pups out after about 6 months to a year. They are the correct verbiage escapes me, but anyways, dad will actually stay with the pups outside of the hut for also around a year, teaching the offspring how to hunt and fish and build dams, which I find very unique amongst beavers. So shout out to dads. And then those pups will leave, and then typically they go downstream and find their own new territory. So mom and dad up here in their big mansion, when they move or leave, they will have to hopscotch over their offspring, which have likely created their own beaver wetlands downstream, because they are territorial. So once they're kicked out, that's it. So beavers not only shape ecosystems, but also support other key species, including salmon. Scientific research shows streams with beaver dams produce more and larger native trout and salmon. Beaver ponds create ideal nursery habitats for juvenile fish. These ponds improve conditions by, again, creating complex edge habitat. So they're creating that floodplain, they're creating that buffer zone, they're creating those transition from deep water channel to fringe wetland to shrub to forested wetland to upland, instead of just incised channel, eroded banks, forest upland. They increase insect and invertebrate food supply. They add beneficial woody debris to streams. They provide slow water refuge that reduces fish energy use, and they improve winter survival for young salmon and trout. Michael, I think this is also answering your question about how fish move upstream with beavers, or at least how beavers do not impact fish because of negatively impact fish. Because of these benefits, increasing beaver populations and pond habitat may help support salmon recovery. Again, not here, but I wanted to speak about it because it's important and applicable to other fish species. And they could contribute to removing some populations from threatened species list. So why give a damn? As if supporting biodiversity and salmon fish recovery were not enough, beavers provide many additional benefits to our landscape. Again, they improve stream flow. So beaver dams act like natural sponges. They reduce damaging peak flows during storms and heavy runoff. They minimize erosion, and then they slowly release the stored water, helping maintain stream flow during droughts. Enhanced water quality. Beaver ponds naturally filter and clean water above and beyond what a naturally occurring wetland would do. Algae, plants, and sediments remove suspended particles. Organic wastes are broken down and processed. Pollutants such as heavy metals, pesticides, and fertilizers are captured. These wetland systems function much like the Earth's kidneys, helping to purify water and maintain healthier ecosystems overall. So what they call beaver problems. Much of our infrastructure was built without beavers in mind. As beavers returned to landscapes heavily altered by human development, conflicts began to occur when they dammed streams in these areas. So early on, problem beavers were often relocated to remote uninhabited areas. As relocation sites declined in the late 20th century, especially here in Massachusetts, lethal control became the primary management method. For decades, lethal management remained the most common approach in many states. Over the past 20 years, significant progress has been made in non-lethal management to reduce conflicts while preserving the benefits beavers provide. I'm not sure if you all can read this. Are you able to read it?
Yep, up on the big screen, yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you are collectively finished. Anyways, I wanted to find some sort of political cartoon, but staying away from American political cartoons, I went to Britain.
I almost didn't recognize you with one of my ancestors
It's on
on
your
your head.
Now you asked us to come back and build the dam for free.
Yes. Yes, I like the got a rubbish ecosystem, have ya?
Yeah, right.
The Brits want us to get.
Who-
Yeah.
Who's
look
who's
like
Michael Flippin Barrier?
Harder.
I don't know who that is,
All
but
right.
we'll learn a little culture tonight too. So,
Who did this?
English humor.
Stephen Collins is his name. This was posted in The Guardian last year.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's funny.
Thank you. All right, so effective non-lethal methods. Understanding how and why beavers behave the way they do is essential for managing conflicts effectively. Today, a range of proven tools exist to prevent damage while allowing beavers to remain in the landscape. Roads. To a beaver, a road culvert looks a lot like a hole in a dam.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that the head wall and then the road itself is one very long dam, right? And then that culvert, bam, they want to block it. So beavers instinctively repair the opening by blocking it. This can turn a road into a dam, causing flooding. Results may include safety risks, infrastructure damage, and costly repairs. Photo on the right is actually the culvert on Grove Street that is completely blocked by a beaver dam. It's hard to see, but you should be able to see the other side through this culvert, and you cannot. In most cases, culverts can be successfully protected by diversion dams, large culvert fences, fence and pipe flow devices, the beaver flow devices, or beaver deceivers, as the commission knows. Professionally designed systems exceed a 95% success rate. These solutions are also effective for spillways and retention ponds. Flooding from freestanding dams is handled differently. Flexible pond leveler systems can control the water levels. These devices maintain ponds at safe levels without removing beavers. Additional effective non-lethal methods is just to make the landscape unappealable to beavers. So that would be by protecting trees from beaver activity. More on the resident side than the municipality side, considering that we have a lot of trees, we have a lot of conservation areas, and a lot of our flooding risks or infrastructure risks is human health and safety risks, not as a resident wanting to maintain flooding on their property. It's slightly different. A slightly different emergency criteria. Beavers harvest trees for food and building materials. What was that?
I think someone was just clearing their throat.
Okay,
Me as
thanks,
well.
Derek. It's the pollen.
It is
It's
bad.
awful out. In addition, because their dams flood areas, this oftentimes may drown nearby trees. While this is natural behavior, some of the affected trees may be valuable to people. So again, that tree loss can occur from cutting or flooding. Protecting trees is one of the most common concerns for property owners. Many people seek information online about how to prevent damage. Simple and effective tree protection. It's typically straightforward. Most methods are do-it-yourself and easy to implement. Common solutions include wrapping tree trunks or installing barriers. Like on the right, this looks like a large gauge hardware cloth around it, or even it might just be a cattle panel that somebody cut and wrapped around. There's another one here too, in here. Also, spicy trees. So there has been some experiments going on recently about mixing cayenne with other hot peppers to create a paste or a spray solution and spraying the trunk of the tree. Unfortunately with that is beavers also like very young, supple trees. tasty trees, right? Those soft woods, those are generally sweeter anyways. So putting a hot solution onto a young tree, you're typically, you might kill the tree. So if a resident would like to try that, that is on them. I much prefer the fence method. So, and this is something that residents can do on their own. All right, Derek, you're up.
All right, so this is where Bricolage and Conservation and DPW mix, and we mix in a lot of different spots, but all of that was such good information and very eloquently stated. But then here's the other side of the coin, where only one of those photos, and this isn't a knock, showed a pinch point of where a culvert or a bridge or a pipe that goes under a road or near another piece of infrastructure gets pinched by the beavers. And the beaver dams themselves are one thing, and then the other one, just like Bricolage said, is that the head wall of a culvert looks pretty much exactly like a starting point for a beaver to make a beaver dam. So all they have to do is relatively little work, which creates a lot of work for us being the DPW, to make sure that that stays flowing. And there's a number of factors that we'll get into that we consider with that, but I only put this up here to give a generalized context of the number of things we do. It's not for a pat in the back, it's not for anything like that, but we'll see in a couple later slides how much time goes into each one of these spots that come up time and time again, that we have to balance with all of these other tasks that we do. So we do, after winter time, we repair any drainage failures that happened late in fall or early winter or any time throughout the winter, because we don't do road work during the winter time, which includes catch basin resets, full rebuilds, drainage structure replacement, swales, clogged pipes, broken pipes. This division also does the curbside trash recycling program, so all of the 20,000 plus carts out there, if there's a lid or a hinge or a wheel or a bracket that needs to be swapped out, we do that. We sweep all the streets. Every Monday, Friday, and sometimes on Saturdays, we head up to the recycling center to push back the leaves, crush the dumpsters, and push back the brush. We have a policy in town where we respond to every residential request. So that's just, we get not bombarded, but we get lots of emails every single day. And it doesn't matter how big or how small it seems, we have to investigate it and see what it's all about. Springtime as well is Earth Day, and then we have to do our detention basin inspections, which just even if you can imagine driving to 152 sites in town, how long that would take. So these are just a few of the examples of, and I have a crew of three full-time employees, and the way that the job market's been over the last 5-6 years is basically there's always somebody jumping ship looking to make another dollar somewhere else, and good for them, but that usually leaves us vacant a position. So it's really, on the whole, like 2.5 employees, because we're always kind of looking for an employee.
So those are town-owned detention basins?
Correct, yep.
Oh,
Yep. And then-
Stormwater detention basin?
Correct, yeah. Basically, anytime starting around, definitely after 96, but sometime in the late 80s, they started, anytime a development went in, they started to have to account for that first inch of rainwater that would come. And it was more about flood control back then than it was about anything else, from what I understand. You know, I was alive, but it was before my time. And now it's all about phosphorus removal, so it's very fortunate that those structures were put in place, because coincidentally, they also capture phosphorus for us from our discharge, and it removes that from our system. So the previous slide was everything my crew does. I won't go through this too much, but these are the things that I have to do behind the scenes to make sure everything is running smoothly. So within the last calendar year, these are all of the sites that we had to go out and inspect and see. We got a residential call, hey, we got a beaver dam over here, or this isn't flowing over here. Sometimes it's a colleague, it's usually a resident. And then I'll make a note here that my experience with the residents of Franklin is that 50% of them have no problem doing whatever it takes to solve whatever their perceived or real issue is immediately, no matter what means that is. And the other 50% wants they may have an issue with what's going on, but they do not want to have any impact on the existing beaver population. So this gets a little tricky, and it's all good, but when you have to, if you have two neighbors side by side and they have differing opinions, it gets interesting with how to navigate that, because it's more of the human psychology of what are we gonna do here to try and solve this problem. So those are 16 locations overall that we had to go out and check and see what was going on there. There was more than that did not have evidence of beavers, but sometimes people just are misunderstood what might be in reality out there. 2 years ago, Bricolai and I and my team worked together to install 6 of the flow devices, and we also did so that 6 includes the Keystone fences that we put out there. We permitted for 8 that we haven't put out yet. So just to maintain those flow devices, it takes 2 employees, 2 hours per week, if we're doing it every week, which we truthfully don't have time to. So the reality is we're a little reactive, and we do have really good neighbors that are out and around, and they'll let me know, believe me, if anything's out of the ordinary. But if we were to put this on a routine schedule, and if I had a magic wand and could foresee the future and say, this is what you guys are going to do for the whole week, that's how long it would take each of my crew members to go out there and just check and make sure everything was good, and then remove any debris that was out there around the cage, or the fence rather, or adjust the pipe, or do that, or there's very good guidance on exactly how these things should be situated. And the reality is we're dealing with a living and breathing environment that moves and shifts and changes, and there's beavers around them, and there's people, and all of this is all good, but it's just, there is a tremendous time constraint before we even get into beavers, and with this, it adds to it. So this is more of a kudos to the crew than anything, that we can make all this happen, because it's working pretty well, is what I would say. So, and we want to keep that going. So, for dramatic effect, these are the steps that are taken before we even consider putting a trap out there, before I even call the licensed beaver trapper to have the conversation over what do we think. So I'll be sitting at my desk, I get an email or a phone call, hey, I think there's a beaver out behind Harborwood Drive. Okay, sounds good. Either I'll go out myself, or I'll assign it to one of my crew members if they're kind of in the area already, to save some time. I'll look at the aerial imagery. So on Axis GIS, we have really good flyovers, and they come out, I forget if it's every 3, 4, or 6 months, but it's very, very detailed. So before I go out there, we'll check that to see if there was a issue or anything, just to get a lay of the land of what was there previously, if I don't have an exact idea, because there are those reoccurring spots. Typically, I'll reach out to, it's hard to get people's phone numbers nowadays because there's no phone book, but we'll try and contact anybody in the area by phone if we can. If not, it's usually knocking on doors. So we get out there, we locate the complaint, which is part 6 is very sometimes time consuming, because these spots are not always at those pinch points that I had described that are very difficult to manage. They might be 100 yards northwest of somebody's house. So, you know, we don't have segways to get out there, and there's a lot of brush and everything. So just trucking out to those sites can sometimes be a time consumption element. Determine the scope of complaint. This is where I mentally revisit the aerial imagery that I already checked and try to imagine what could potentially happen should it have a failure. Or when I say failure, I mean we not only are we dealing with the environment, but there are human beings out there, which are part of the environment, of course, but people act on their own, and if somebody doesn't like that there's a beaver dam in their backyard, we have to consider that they might take matters into their own hands to try and notch it or do what there's. Bricolai, I'm sure you remember this. This was on by the Big Apple. but it was in the Franklin part where we definitely thought
It's
that
the
there was
nuns.
a piece of heavy equipment that was out there, so, that was a couple years ago, and the pond was drained all of a sudden. So there's just a number of considerations for what people can do to get the result that they desire on their own, without informing us. We've logged the findings into the work order system. At that point, we decide, what are we going to do? So for example, got a report a few weeks ago about a beaver dam on Summer Street, near Mount Street, underneath the high tension wires. And it definitely was on private property, but we go out there and we check it out, drive up, knock on the property owner's door, which was nowhere near. It's a really big parcel. Knock on the door, say, hey, I'm Derek, I'm with the town, that's my truck, this is my vest, I'm gonna be out there, is that okay? Typically, we don't have any issues with that, with residents not wanting us on their property to just go check it out. Check it out, it's there for sure, but it's on private property, and the downstream culvert was not clogged, so no additional action needed to be taken, because there's no harm, no foul. Like, it was almost a best-case scenario. If I send my crew out, I have to determine if, they have to report back to me, of course. And then if this is gonna escalate, I am in close contact with Kathleen Liberty, with the health department, or Ginny, and Bricolai, to figure out, basically, if I'm saying, hey, we're having a reoccurring issue out here, and I'm concerned that, if you can remember, let me go back here for a second, this one right here. This one made me really nervous on Grove Street, because it is so big, and you can walk in, the three people can probably stand side to side, and you're still not gonna touch the walls. The concern of that, before you could really get in there, was that a stick or a log had become wedged within two of the block faces, which could have either already or potentially dislodged a critical component of that dam, which looks to be in really good shape, and we want to keep it that way, because that is a very important road in town, as they all are, but that would cause a lot of problems if we had to shut down one lane of Grove Street. So sometimes it's just a pipe that's clogged, and we can use our hands to unclog it. Other times, we are looking at a 100-year-old culvert that's in good shape, or a bridge. This is more of a bridge, and we want to keep it that way, and personally, very concerning of what's going to happen there when we start pulling stuff away. What are we going to find? So then, should I talk to Bricolai and get her input, and from Public Health to see if they have any additional input? I give the Beaver Trapper a call to see what he remembers about the area. He's been in town for a very long time. He's a Franklin resident. He's licensed. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good rapport with us. Just to pick his brain a little bit. And then before we even do anything, we want to be mindful of what the weather's doing. If we're going to be in a drought and this is not a pipe that's clogged, we might be able to just wait it out. Because sometimes the beavers do just move from, well, they always move from area to area, but sometimes they'll get bored with this area before they cause additional damage, and we wait for them to leave, we unclog the pipe one last time, and then we worry about where they're going to be next. We have to be mindful of the residential concerns. Do I want to say? Spring Street's a tough one, because we have some conflicting opinions over there of the approach that we should take. I'll put it that way. And that's difficult, because no knock on the person who designed that passage of water, but it's basically 3 bell and spigot pipes when it should be something different. The water flow should be different up there, and it's not, and it's fine, and we work with it, but when that gets clogged, it's extremely difficult. I would say it's not difficult, it's time consuming, but if it gets clogged to the point where you have to use a machine to help unclog it, that section of Spring Street is basically a 1-lane road, so we got to get a police detail, and even if the police detail's there, a lot of tension, just because people want to get to their house, or they want to leave their house, or they need to, and you're always wondering, is an ambulance going to come down the road, is a fire truck? So Those are exceptionally delicate situations that we need to deal with. And then we have to balance it with the week's workload. We consider if we can try, if this sounds like I'm just going off of vibes, but I'm not, like, we try not to trap is the point of this. I consider if we can just, can we really dedicate, in addition to all the other things, 2 hours to go back there and unclog it time after time, and then hope maybe in a month from now the whole thing goes away. Sometimes we do that. And after we go through all of those 17 things, if we need to call the trapper and get him out there, sometimes we have done that, and it's been effective. But it's not something that it's by no means the first move that we make. But I have a duty to protect the public infrastructure, and if it gets to that point, then there, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you look at it, that's the only way to do it. Because some of these locations are too high value monetarily and from an emergency transport standpoint to do nothing, or to just hope that it's going to wait it out and things will turn better. So the non-lethal action, hold on, let me get it. I'm not quite sure why I put that up there. So this is a little more of a recap from what we had before. We do have the 6 locations with the flow devices installed. There's one on Prospect Street that we need to replace it. I don't want to call anybody out, but there's some third parties that were doing some stuff over there, and the fence is malleable over time. So it got affected to a point where it was getting clogged more than flowing. So we did pull that one, and we're in the process of making the construction to replace it. And like I said before, it does have a pretty significant, but it's all good. This is what we're here to do. This isn't to say we don't want to do this or anything like that. It does have an impact on what we're doing out there on the roadway. We have to balance, are we going to repair this failing catch basin, or are we going to spend 2 hours doing this? And the thing with roadway repairs is it's typically an 8-hour day when you need to do a roadway repair. Like, that's just, there's no way to like go over there for a half hour, 45 minutes. No, if you're going to unclog a clogged beaver deceiver, which happens infrequently, like, you got to go and you got to do the whole thing. There's no halfway there. And that's the same with road work. If you get a hole, if you start the repair, you need to finish the repair that day, and if you don't finish that day, you're staying late to finish it, and if you don't finish it after you stay late, you're putting a steel plate on it, and then first thing in the morning, we're going back there and you're finishing that up, and then we're paving it the next day, and then we're back to good. So the picture on the right, that's at Forest Street. That's a pretty good example of, that's kind of, it's not nice, but it's nice to be able to see that, because a lot of the time you don't see it because it's closer to the road, and it's impressed inside the pipe for the most part. And the only way you can really tell there's a problem is if a neighbor calls you and says, hey, the water's stopped flowing over here, something seems a little up. So that is just a really good visual of what we have to deal with. But you have to consider when you can walk over to that, you can use your hands, you can use a pitchfork, you could probably reach a piece of machinery over there to knock it in. But if you imagine if that was circled within a pipe, that gets a little more complicated. You have a human being standing next to a mass of water that wants to flow through that pipe at a moment's notice, and I'm there telling them, directing them, giving them orders to stick their hand in there and remove it so that the water can flow faster. On some of the bigger pipes in town, it's not that I don't put them in an unsafe situation, but it's a lot of the work that we do, whether they're digging a hole and they're 6 feet underground or they're doing something like this, it's like I've done these things myself, and they're not comfortable spots to be in, and people, workers, human beings, get excited about the work that they're doing. Mistakes happen, and we want to avoid those mistakes. So, but going back, even more considerations before trapping, we're going to determine whose land it's on or what it may be affecting. And like I said several times before, the public infrastructure aspect is my concern. There are residents who are concerned about, on the upstream side, when things are dammed of this nature and we have an extremely wet season and they have a septic system, which is a valid concern, but that's their concern. My concern is this going to affect the roadway, the culvert, the pipe, whatever it might be that's letting the water flow under the road? And like I said before, does an actual problem exist? We can't just ignore these things, but sometimes with a little bit of luck and going back a few times over a number of weeks, if the timing is fortuitous, it's not, and the lucky, they might just move to another area, and then we deal with that when it comes. And access, so this one is, I put that on there because of Summer Street. If you were on Summer Street going out of town, you go underneath 495 on the right-hand side. There's town-owned property back there, which is not that far from the one I went to a couple weeks ago that I described next to Mount Street and Summer Street. This one was on town-owned property, and it's all good because we have a good relationship usually with the residents, but you're still pulling onto somebody's property. You're putting all your equipment on their yard. You're walking through their backyard. You don't know if they're having a barbecue or a birthday party for their kid, or a graduation party, or they just want some peace and quiet. Like, it's no problem, but it's there's a lot that goes into it. More than just going out and pulling out a couple of sticks.
Back to me?
Back to you.
Perfect. So regulations, permitting, and then other considerations as well. So while flow devices are highly effective, installing and maintaining them in municipal settings can be complex, as Derek alluded to. Success often depends on coordination, funding, and site-specific conditions. So expanding on those key challenges, public and private coordination. Projects often involve both municipal and privately owned land, requiring cooperation between landowners, agencies, and stakeholders. So where Derek Adams, you put it really well that your concern is public infrastructure. As the conservation director, I am an intermediary between that public infrastructure and private property, right? Because the Wetlands Protection Act and the local wetlands bylaw extends jurisdiction onto private property. And while beavers themselves are not protected, the resources that they reside in are. So I'm in that a niche spot. And then you have Board of Health, and full stop, Board of Health maintains jurisdiction on beavers, mainly because when most people call about beavers, there's Gerardia, there's mosquitoes, there's a septic failing, which Derek is right, is not his concern, that's Board of Health concern. And then by proxy, my concern if there's a septic near a resource area. Most of our beaver, not most, well, sorry, let me go back. 5 out of the 6 installed flow devices are on public land. We have 1 that is on private land because it has a direct impact to public infrastructure. So Derek and I are limited in our ability to go out and install these flow devices everywhere. We are limited to that public setting. Additionally, Derek had mentioned that there's 16 sites, I believe on that map, Derek, that you had, that are routine beaver complications. So I just wanted to note that for the commission, we have half of those permitted for already to install flow devices. Not every location, it is appropriate for a flow device or a keystone fence. More on that later. So ownership and maintenance responsibilities, it is not always clear who is responsible for long-term upkeep when infrastructure spans public and private property. This is a legal consideration. Again, another reason why we cannot just willy-nilly, not that I would ever do that, but go out and install flow devices. These situations are nuanced and we have to approach them with care. Regulatory considerations, permitting and environmental regulations. So the Franklin Conservation Commission approves flow devices under RDAs. DEP recently gave me a call. They would prefer NOIs. So guess who does that? me. That permitting environmental regulations, including potential changes at the state level, this is where we would get into knocking on Beacon Hill's door to say, hey, we would like to be able to relocate beavers, can affect project timelines and feasibility. Again, Board of Health maintains jurisdiction in most cases. If there is a health concern for a beaver, Board of Health is not concerned with installing a flow device. They need to get that beaver out, filling in the blanks for them. So unfortunately, Derek typically files for the permit. He's the one that is the liaison with the trapper. He files for a permit, Board of Health signs off on it, and all I am there to do is to say, this is what, these are best management practices when trapping. Typically, I don't say anything to the trapper. I sign off on the permit because, as Derek mentioned, he is a certified trapper. He knows what he's doing. Beaver dam removals, slightly different. I typically pipe up for those and say, hey, make sure, if you're using if you're using machines, this is best management practice for using a machine. Infrastructure limitations. Some culverts or bridge structures are not suitable for flow devices due to size, design, or site constraints. The flex pond levelers, for example, your stream channel typically has to be of a certain depth, and oftentimes, they don't reach that depth. So you can install a keystone fence, but then also, my brain is thinking faster than my mouth. Considerations for a keystone fence then are wildlife passages and what wildlife is present there, engaging of that.
So what do we do at Grove Street with that big one, that big culvert, that bridge?
Honestly, I was out that week. But we had, I do know, okay, do you want me to, yeah.
Go ahead, Derek. It's fine. I spoke to Jake when they were out there.
Yeah, from what I heard is they took a hook, they put the hook on a chain, they took the hook and got it over the top. Everybody got out, and then you had a machine off to the side, and you hooked the chain to the machine, and then you just pulled it back.
Pull it out.
And then you waited. So the other concern is doing that slowly so you don't flood anything.
Yeah,
So you
wow.
do that once, then you wait 12, 24 hours and come back and do it again, and then maybe another 24 hours.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, it was very,
Cost and capacity, and perhaps I should have put safety in here too. So expenses include staff training, installation, and ongoing maintenance. This is unfortunately limited municipal budgets and staff resources can be barriers. In Franklin, there's only one person that is trained in flow device installations, and that is me. I know Derek Adams and Vito, what is his?
Vito De Silva.
No, his job title.
Oh, he's the crew leader for the stormwater division.
Thank you, Vito. Are both interested in becoming certified, but training is $2,500. It's a 240-hour course on average, and you have to complete 4 projects that are peer reviewed. So it is significant time to become certified, for example. Another reason why there's a barrier to putting out these flow devices. I don't want the commission to think that we're saying we can't do it. We obviously can, but just realistically why we are where we are and what we internally overcome to get to where we are that maybe the public does not realize. And then public perception and actions. Residents may intervene independently by removing dams or altering structures, which can undermine long-term solutions. As Derek mentioned, several years back, an individual trespassed onto the Abbey's property and removed a significant beaver dam. And beavers are gone, the pond is gone, the meadow's gone, it's just gone. And the environmental police and I worked closely on tracking who did that. So that was a fun exercise for me to be able to watch someone actually track out in the woods. But despite these challenges, strong partnerships, clear responsibilities, and community education can significantly improve project success.
Question.
Another, yep.
So, what if a citizen like independently goes to a trapper and says, hey, get rid of this beaver? Do they need a permit so they will coordinate with the town?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Despite, I already read that. I wanted to note that, along that vein, Michael, if someone calls me or Derek or even, me chirping at Kathy Liberty, the health director in the office, if there is an avenue to be able to install a flow device, that's what I push people towards. For example, the village at Oak Hill, they have beaver issues. And I've been working closely with their board of directors to get them in touch with people to install flow devices so that they can live in coexistence with the beavers. They fall into the 50% that Derek mentioned, that they really don't want to hurt the beavers, but they also can't be flooding out. So this is a nifty, easy infographic of how beaver permitting happens. Happy to send this to the entire commission later tonight or tomorrow. A more detailed description or, one second. A more detailed infographic is here. Harder to read, black and white, but it shows the same thing. So this is everything that Derek and I had just mentioned. Again, I will send this to you later so you can review it on your own.
Nice.
Not to, but I just wanted to let you guys know that something like this does exist. All right. Oh, and then references. So any other questions? I am going to stop sharing now so I can see all of your smiling faces.
That was good, thank you.
It was.
Thank you.
That was good.
Oh, it's dark outside. That's fun.
Well, thanks for that. It's,
Thank you.
I appreciate the
That was
work you
really
guys
good.
put into that. Okay,
Um,
thank you very much.
You're welcome. It is, again, we work very, very hard to try and install these flow devices. We still have 2 that are permitted for that we can install. Obviously, there was I don't know if any of you know this, but I was out on leave. So that is why 2 haven't been installed. But it is a passion project, I think, collectively between Derek and I, and it's at least to me been fruitful to see success with these flow devices.
Yeah, that's a good upgrade, right, to the trapping, so, nice.
So a question on the flow devices. So
Yep.
beavers are instinctively trying to block up any flow.
Yeah.
So does it drive them crazy that there's still flow going on, or they don't notice it?
So you sink the intake. This is where the depth of the water in that channel, so imagine a stream channel, right? And then you have a diffused wetland and floodplain on top because you have a dam. You sink that intake in the deepest part of the channel so they can't hear it. And then you notch the beaver dam, which is super fun. You notch the beaver dam, you lay down the pipe. They can hear it on the other side, that's true, but then they dam on top of that pipe. And then they can't hear it so much anymore. And they think that they've stopped that flow. So the mechanics of that intake leveler, when you're installing it, if you're me installing it, because my goal is not to lower the water level, right? Some people like to install them to lower the water level. I don't want to. I want to keep things the way that they are naturally, and then just prevent future flooding. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. I hope that
So
answered your
notching,
question.
building on top of it?
So they're not smart enough just to be asking, well, why isn't the water level rising?
They've been deceived.
No.
Hence the
No.
beaver disease.
So,
That's the
Okay.
name.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
what it was. So because I'm not lowering the water level, they still, thank you. That's actually, that was a really good question to ask. Because we're not lowering the water level, they still feel safe. They still feel
Ah, okay. There
impounded.
you go.
That the water level stays the same.
Okay, thanks.
So yeah.
So they're happy with it, the
Yeah.
same, they're not looking to rate, that's interesting, yeah, okay.
So I didn't know. it
So
was-
you have to size the pipe to the flow, right?
Correct.
Some-
So when I've been permitting in front of you, I look at stream stats. Does that sound familiar to
Oh,
most of you?
yeah.
So we look at the watershed area and then how much water is in that watershed area, and then we size the pipe appropriately.
Some science there.
Usually, it's a 12-inch to a 15-inch pipe.
Some engineering in that.
Yeah.
It's,
All right.
There's little engineering in there.
Well, the thing I picked up is, I didn't know it was it's audible, so they're, you know, you're kind of causing, you know, for them to feel comfortable. It's like the audible. I thought it was like visual or, you know, by feeling, you know, I didn't think it was, they were hearing this like flow.
Well,
And so you know, yeah, go ahead.
so it's okay. So it is, yes, they listen for flow, and then that's where they determine if there's a hole to be plugged. However, feel, so the way that beaver huts are, their entrances are at the bottom. And if you were to drain a beaver pond, you'd actually see little beaver highways because they just kind of like scoot along the pond floor. And then they create little channels in there, like little insects, right, making S galleries under tree bark. So anyways, going back to your comment about feel, they definitely need it impounded enough that they feel safe going into their hut at the bottom.
Yeah.
I do not know if there's like a general pond depth on average that beavers go for, only that they go to the lowest point to enter into their hut.
Yeah.
And they need that hut to be completely buried
Yeah.
underwater.
Looking
Sorry.
for like the right conditions, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those-
There you go. Good job.
So I had two questions. It's like, how long do they, like, what's the lifespan of a beaver? Like,
Oh,
Depends on the trapper.
I was gonna, I knew that at one
It
point.
could be either long or short, depending on where you're at.
Generally 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
So coincides with the beaver meadow.
And this, I was, just because I have a lot of rabbits in my backyard, like, well, how did they like, what's the, you know, how, did they multiply pretty extensively?
I
Like,
think it's three to
Wait,
4.
yeah,
Four
they
pups
can.
at a time?
Kids.
per year, or like
Can you
season?
still hear me? Okay,
Yes,
there we
yep.
go. Yes. So they have about 3 to 4, and then they can have, I don't know, the cultural expectation is that they nest every year. Sometimes they can skip a year.
Yeah, I saw the map up there, it seems like they were just everywhere in town, so like you're finding these, so.
Yeah, it's been, it's funny in a sense because it's the type of thing that when these issues occur, they occur, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but out of nowhere and like 4 or 5 places at once. And then it's, I'm getting a call from my boss or a town councilor or whoever. And it's like, you got to go out there right now and check it. And then just when we start to get a handle on it, it's like, that's why I like to take the approach of the manual handwork, because I'd say about 80% of the time, the problem doesn't solve itself, but we can buy enough time until they get bored enough and they move somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, probably more than 80% of the time, because we do not trap that often.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So is the town going to pay for the training for these individuals?
The pay is not the biggest part of the issue. The 240 hours is definitely, because I want myself and my crew leader to do that. But that's a significant investment of time. So Bricolai and I had a cursory conversation about what she went through and how she did it. And we're going to keep that conversation going to see how we can hopefully incorporate that into the mix. Over how long the expected, off the top of my head, I'm not great at math, but 240 hours is what, 12 or 13 weeks or something like that? Like, that's a quarter of a year that somebody would have to stay dedicated to that. So if that can be spread out over the course of 2 years, that's a lot easier to do than try, because the alternative is to do it all in a couple month chunk, and that's incongruent with what we could handle right now.
So, the activity time is usually, what, birthday to,
So the busiest time of year, if there was one, would be springtime for us, because we have to repair everything that was, that failed over the wintertime, plus the general spring activities going on around town. So that's definitely the least, that it could not happen at that time. But there are other times of year, but if you're speaking to the beaver activity, that is more on a case-by-case basis with how many are out, where are they, and how wet the season is. In a very, very rainy season, any issue of an impediment for flow is magnified exponentially, and residents get, and I don't blame them, get extremely nervous when they see water encroaching on their property. And that's not the only reason we react, but that's when we start getting the calls. But that's more variable based on weather patterns than a specific time of year.
thank you.
I wanted a follow-up tangential comment to that, if I may, is that while Derek and Vito have expressed interest, and I would love for them to take the class because it's just so fun. I mean, the town of Franklin has one employee that has it already. So as long as that one employee is there project managing the flow device aspect of it, it doesn't really change if Derek or Vito have the certification.
Good point.
Yeah.
So if the flow devices work, why can't we put one on Grove Street?
We haven't done that yet because that wasn't one of the ones that we previously permitted for, and Bricolai and I would have to talk about that further. Off the top of my head, it would be too wide of a infrastructure piece, because typically we have the device, think of a giant soda can, it's sunk down, and then it has the pipe that comes out of it that will actually continue the flow. And that pipe generally goes in a notched area, and then the beavers pack it down, and then everything's good. It just doesn't seem appropriate for that site. I don't know what the size of a keystone fence would be, Bricolai. I'm not sure if you have any, what your opinion is on that.
I mean, could try a keystone fence. My concern with that arch, because I have been actually in there, pre-beaver. And the way that grade is, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, what's tricky with the keystone fence is that a beaver can climb up and around and still plug it. So we would have to, I think if we installed a fence, we would have to cut an angle fence all the way up to the roadway, which also isn't great, because then if the beaver really wants to get in there, they would be going up to the roadway, which is not something that we want to do. But I don't know. I mean, that site is tricky. But as far as why flow device wasn't installed, I mean, for me personally, it came across as an emergency beaver permit, so.
That was, yeah, that's absolutely true. That made me very concerned about the importance of the roadway and the way that that bridge or culvert was constructed, and the safety concern for the employees because like our usual approach of returning and just trying it again and again, not saying I had a literal nightmare, but I was having nightmares about putting somebody in there and before we determined the best course of action, those nights before we took action, how are we going to do this thing? It did not seem like there were many safe options, and I'm glad we found one. So we wanted to, the time consideration for returning and the safety concerns and the roadway importance, we wanted that one to be solved immediately, and then here we are. Hopefully we can figure one out, something better going forward, non-lethal.
Now would be the time. It's already been trapped. I will mention that in the beaver coexistence professional sector, beaver ecologists, beaver biologists, it is an unfortunate acceptance that sometimes trapping, and I'm not advocating for it, don't get me wrong, I'm just regurgitating best practices, what they say is best management practices. It is accepted that sometimes you have to trap to get a beaver out to be able to install a flow device because they are just too quick for what we can feasibly do. Or if we needed to notch that dam in Grove Street, that's an all-day process, then you would leave, and then by the next morning, it's going to be plugged back up again.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll pull up the one that's on the, in between Cottage Street and Grove Street, Bricolai. I'll take a moment to pull up the map here just to show the location of that one. Because we lucked out, they built a beaver dam in a very, very remote location. And not only is the location remote, but, forgive me, because I'm not used to not using a mouse to go in, so let's see here.
So you also have like limitations of where you can put these things, because like you said, it's based on the, you have a larger size, then you
Yep.
know, it's not like a one size fits all. Like,
It's all situationally
it's all
dependent.
situational,
Yep. So here, if you look right in, I don't know if you can see the cursor, but all right, let's see if I can highlight this. All right, who owns this? The United States of America. This top corner right here, where Spring Pond ultimately drains to and goes underneath 495, but this is also where the railroad tracks are, which the town recently purchased. We got a report that that was clogged, and I drove out there with the town engineer, and it's if obviously you're not hopping off of 495, and if we zoom out a little bit here, the only way to get there is from this side of Cottage Street, driving along the railroad tracks, kind of by Franklin Paint, if you know where that is, that spot there. And then once you get there, the reality is, let's see if I can do a satellite image here.
Because the
It's not it's not
Like
painting the picture, but,
okay.
no, go ahead.
No, go.
So the thing is, I wish I could get the elevation up here. Basically, there's a 20-foot drop-off between the what's now the trail, which used to be the railroad tracks, and where the beaver dam is. So even if we could get a piece of equipment all the way down underneath 495 and parked right there, getting the piece of equipment from where the elevation of the railroad tracks is to where that actual culvert is, which is probably, I'm going to say 20 to 30 feet below the grade of 495, like that in itself would be, that's going to be a tricky one, and we're all going to keep our eye on that, because I don't even know what the answer is, and there's no answer yet, but that's just speaking to another facet of the concerns that we have when, how do we keep employees safe? How do we keep the equipment used in a manner that it needs to be used? And if we were, so here's the thing, we went out there, we did our inspection, we notched it just a little bit to see, and we came back a couple days later and the beaver had gone, which was great news for everybody. So we have done nothing there at this point in the interim. But between when we knew if the beaver was there or was not there, did not want to put an employee in waders pulling sticks out of that beaver dam, which is a culvert in a extremely remote area. So then it's like, okay, how do we get equipment here? And then it's like, we can't really. It's not like Grove Street where you can just pull it off the side of the road. So I just wanted to illustrate another point of some of the remote areas that we need to contend with.
Doug, Jake, and I walked that years ago. It is a repeat area.
Seems like every 3 years now, yeah, yep.
That sounds about right. That sounds about when we went out there.
Yeah, yep.
We walked the tracks.
For those who haven't seen a beaver deceiver yet, do you have a picture of one handy?
Sure do.
Yeah.
This keyboard is like a centimeter off from the one that I always use, so it's awful.
Thank you.
You're pulling it up, Derek?
For those who haven't
Yep.
seen it, it might be confusing what we've been
The
saying.
Beaver Bible.
All right, this is 500 pages. Do you have an idea which,
It's like module 2.
that's got a
There's
crude
one.
drawing
There's-
of what it is, right there.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
All that's in that one are crude drawings. So this is a flex pond leveler. So there's the water line is the weighted black line at the top, and then you have a cage that you build, and that cage, the gauge of the cage is appropriately sized for fish and wildlife passage, just for what it's worth. So you build that cage, you notch the side of the cage, and you poke your flexible pipe into it, that 12 to 15 inch pipe. Then you thread that pipe along the bottom of the stream bed, you sink it, crudely drawn on there are weight.
Bless you.
You sink it, and then you notch the beaver dam and you thread it through.
And then they come back usually that night and pack it in place, and it's, everybody feels good at the end of that moment.
Thank you. And then-
Because Bricolai doesn't pack it well enough.
And then sometimes there's also, well, I forget the term you're using, but the fence that you put up?
Yep.
Keystone fence.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more like a trapezoidal fence with the long portion, or I'm sorry, the short portion being the road. But sometimes it actually ends up becoming the road depending on the, it's a trapezoid, just put it that way. There we go.
No.
If you drive out on Spring Street,
gonna say,
it
that
is
looks
a
familiar.
one way in, one way out. You will see a keystone fence out there. If you're on Lincoln Street, you'll see a keystone fence. I guess it's been taken down from Prospect Street. If you're at Delcart, there's a keystone fence there.
And then this image here is you can see the cage in the background. It is a little pixelated, but that's,
Great, thank you.
So and that's the notch where the water's coming through?
Yep.
Yep, you're gonna, yeah, all right, it's cool.
That's cool.
So at Delcart, we have a flex pond leveler and keystone fence. Sometimes you can merge the two. Off of Abbey Lane, we have a flex pond leveler, which apparently is doing great.
yeah, and one more note of that one, which we haven't mentioned yet, and I'm surprised, is that we had to use the boat to get that one. Oh, no, that made us realize that we needed to use the boat, yeah. Because
We walked out to Abbey.
that was questionable.
The SS Franklin.
So we do have a boat
That was a good-
available to get what we realized, what the takeaway from that was, if you're, obviously in this photo, you can see they're using a machine, and that's all well and good. But if you're bringing those pipe sections out, and you're walking in muck in the water, and you have your waders on, and you're holding the cinder block, it's not a safe situation.
You're sinking.
It's not gonna end well.
If you fall, you make sure you close your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gulp.
Yeah.
Yes. Giardia is a big concern.
I was nervous about that a couple days. You made me nervous. That's what you said, and you laughed, and I was like, oh, no. I don't know if I held my breath last time.
I am a self-deprecating. But anyways, if the commission can pick up anything, Derek and I laughing about it, we have great fun installing these pieces of infrastructure, so.
Nice.
Looks like good stuff.
Well, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You got it.
Good job.
Thank you,
well
thank
done.
you.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
nice.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We got
No,
a
that's
couple
all I
people,
got.
couple people in chambers here. I don't know if you had any questions or comments in the audience?
So, I'm from the Board of Health.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we were invited, so I actually did come. When was the last time you had to get a beaver permit for trapping?
There was a few that we did this year, and then the, two of them we didn't even need to utilize. It was that I received the information on good measure, and in the interest of time, we put the permit in, because at the interface between getting a trapper, he's a guy who's got other trappings that he does. Sometimes the window to get the crew to notch the dam and to get him out there is a very tight window. So honestly, a lesson learned by my part, I tried to make that process go more quickly. And we took the first couple steps, and then a couple days later, the determination was there is no beaver problem here. So I think that was probably about 4 weeks ago. And then we did use one for Grove Street, but I'm having a hard time remembering when that was. That was that before, after winter? I think so.
What, Grove?
Yeah, or was that before?
Yeah.
Okay, I know, everything's all one big chunk of time right now.
That's after.
So yeah, so springtime.
If you do have to trap, are we releasing elsewhere, or are we?
It's a lethal method.
I'm sorry about that.
That's why we take all those steps to try and avoid that, yep.
Yeah, and why we're trying to educate tonight, right? And I'm so happy you're here. I sent the email to Kathy earlier to invite the Board of Health, so I'm so glad you were able to come. But, but this is why, we're trying to do the education component too. And I emailed Steve Sherlock and Alan Earls and Liz, the communications director, to try to get information out there, so.
I think Steve Sherlock said that he was going to be watching it online, so.
All right.
Because we were
That makes-
at another meeting.
That's
before
right,
this.
yes, yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Meeting Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
He's on. I don't know. But, yeah.
It was a great presentation. I learned so much.
Thank you.
I
Agreed.
never really realized how much work is involved in that, and not realizing, I mean, I have a beaver dam that's down the street from mine, but it's in Norfolk.
Yeah, yeah.
Never realized how many beavers are actually here.
Yeah. The thing that continues to surprise me is how quickly they can repair any sort of effort you make to try and get that water to flow just a little bit. It's with the incredibly efficient little critters, like it's unbelievable how much human effort needs to go into something that the beavers can just like that repair, so.
Busy as a beaver.
They've been
Busy
doing
as
this
a
for a while, so.
Yeah, they got some practice.
I think they have it down.
Yeah.
Could you also send the presentation to Kathy so she can forward it to me?
Absolutely. Happy to do that. I will post it online as well at some point, so. but I can do that right now.
We're glad you're here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Sir, do you have any questions?
He's with me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good enough. Just want to make sure. All right. Well, Derek and Bricolai, thanks a lot. Anything else, guys? That was great.
Happy to do it.
All right.
Thank you.
So with that, I think we're a wrap.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
They're trying to establish the Norfolk County Concom. And we've been going to it. Nicole and I have been going to it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is there any, you guys think that that's a good idea, or,
I mean, what have you learned?
well, I don't know. Nicole, what did we learn last time?
Well, what it is that each county has established, not conservation commissioners, but conservation departments. And I'm just learning this myself. Norfolk County has been inactive for many years, 7 years I think it is. So they're trying to restart it.
Yep.
And what they do is they just delegate different grants and stuff to different projects.
There's money involved.
Yes, no, there is, and, so, and they just educate the public on different things. They work with, agricultural, projects and conservation and whatnot, so.
So what's involved with getting it restarted? I remember we got some information on this, I just can't recall.
Well, we have a meeting next week.
Right, right.
So
Are you gonna Zoom that, or are you gonna go in person?
I haven't decided yet.
Well, they have refreshments at the meeting.
Oh, then maybe I'll.
Wow, that's good. It's kind of-
But they're looking for people, they'd be called supervisors, 7.
7.
And,
You don't wanna be the head,
All right.
because they have
Thank you.
Thank you.
they really load him up, or her.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because you have to get it started. So
But there's 27 towns
In Norfolk?
in Norfolk that goes all the way up to Needham, and I didn't realize it was such a,
There's a couple oddball separate towns
There
in
is.
there, right? That
they're
they're like,
not connected.
yeah, yeah.
So we gerrymandered that as well, huh?
Well, I think there was like, not that this is what we're talking about, but there's a dispute with like Suffolk County and some town like bailed out and came, I don't know, there's a whole story, but anyway.
But they're not involved in permitting or whatnot. They're just really there to help delegate, from my understanding, grants. And then you help
That's good.
get grants available to be able to delegate out, so. But Plymouth County has been very successful with their department. So they have quite a bit of funding. So they have actually people on staff.
Wow.
So to help with getting it started, because you're given, I can't remember the monetary amount, but you're given like so much money to get started that you can apply for.
I mean, that seems
It struck me as a good way if Franklin put a member on the board that we could say, hey, we got a really neat project that we need to take care of in Franklin here or nearby.
Yeah.
Because they do have, there's quite a good funding source. You can get grants and everything to,
You have to seek them out, like you're given the opportunity for, I think, a $4,000 grant.
yeah.
And then there's another one from the congressional, I can't remember what it was titled, but that's what Plymouth has. And, but they have 4, I was looking more into it, so Plymouth County resides on 4 different watersheds. So when I was talking with Steph, she said that they were able to get the funding from the federal government, from what I understand. But we also have 4 watersheds in Norfolk County. Blackstone, the Ponset, and I can't remember the 4th. So I don't see why, but I don't know, it's heavily, it's grant writing and,
There's some,
yeah, a lot of grant writing, so. And
So right now, they're trying to just get enough people interested. I mean, what we have, 5 people, the last one?
Mhm.
out of all the towns. Like that.
Out of all the.
So
Yeah,
we
out
have
of
more
27 towns.
Gotta be careful with those small numbers.
That's interesting, includes, yeah, Blue Hills, Charles River, Neponset River.
Yeah.
More than you would
I
have thought.
did the same thing. I go and I said, gee.
The County of Presidents. Wow. That's, birthplace of 4 US presidents. That's interesting.
Grant for a bridge.
Richard Bridge.
Roger, you're
Over the
good.
river.
It's a win-win.
Nicole's already been nominated, so I think she's gonna be the.
Yeah.
Are you working on that, Nicole? Seriously?
Yeah, I put it in my.
All right.
Yeah, my resume, and we'll see what they say, if they like me, I don't know.
All right.
1 out of 7. Right.
Yeah, Brookline's the oddball. They seceded from Suffolk County, and
Ah,
that was,
Weird.
yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. So at any rate, but yeah, that'd be great, Nicole, that's cool. Well, appreciate you guys going.
Yeah.
It was very informative. I don't know if you saw the email she sent out a lot of other information that was
Yeah, I did. I
much
guess-
more
yeah.
informative.
You wanted to know how much farming, they're
Oh, I
very,
didn't get that one yet, because I'm locked
Oh,
out of
well.
my email.
open it up and
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
click on that one there. Yeah, they wanna know, you know, farming, how much you've done, da. I said, what's this farming stuff? Gee, what?
Well, maybe give us another posting after the next meeting. You guys are up for it. Thanks for going. That's good.
Hey, they got refreshments, so
I will go.
That sounds good.
Keep bringing them in.
Yeah.
Feed them when they come.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
Well, good deal. Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, thank
See
you.
you, Big Eye.
Thanks for